5 famous Japanese whiskeys. Some aren't even made in Japan. Number 5 costs $180 to $200 for whiskey that sold for $65 in 2010. The liquid didn't change. The hype did. Number 1 costs $30 to $35 but contains imported whiskey bottled in Japan and sold as Japanese whiskey. Here's what smart drinkers figured out years ago. Japanese whiskey's premium pricing is built on mystique that stopped reflecting reality a decade ago. Some distilleries make exceptional whiskey. Others import bulk scotch, bottle it in Japan, and call it Japanese whiskey, legally. Today we're exposing 5 famous Japanese whiskeys where reputation, auction hype, and sourcing deception replaced honest value, and 5 alternatives proving you don't need luxury pricing for exceptional Japanese whiskey. Let's start with number 5, Hakushu 12. Hakushu 12, $160 to $300, commonly $180 to $200 at major retailers. This is what happens when scarcity meets speculation. In 2015, Hakushu 12 cost $70 to $85. Same whiskey, same 12-year age statement, same distillery. The price more than doubled while the liquid stayed identical. What changed? Japanese whiskey boom, auction records, collectors treating bottles like stocks, bottled at 86 proof, lightly peated single malt from Suntory's Mountain Distillery. Green apple, herbal notes, gentle smoke, Mizunara oak. The whiskey is genuinely good, distinctive character. At $80, it was fair value. At $180 to $200, you're paying $100 to $120 for scarcity theater. The flavor hasn't evolved since 2015. Crisp fruit, light peat, herbal complexity, clean finish, well-made whiskey. But $120 better than 2015? Absolutely not. In blind tastings against other $180 to $200 single malts, Springbank 15, Glendronach 18, even cask-strength Islay releases, Hakushu 12 performs well, but not dominantly. It tastes like $80 single malt because it is $80 single malt with a $200 scarcity tax. Here's the uncomfortable math. If Hakushu 12 tracked inflation from 2015 to 2026, it should cost $100 to $110 today, not $180 to $200. That's $70 to $90 premium, pure speculation markup. 4 more famous bottles where Japan mystique replaced honest pricing. Number 4, Hibiki Harmony, $75 to $100. This is what happens when a brand removes the age statement but keeps luxury pricing. Hibiki 12-year used to exist. It was discontinued. Hibiki Harmony replaced it. No age statement, same price tier, same mystique. Harmony sounds thoughtful, poetic, Japanese. It's also marketing language for we're not telling you how old this is. Bottled at 86 proof, a blend of malt and grain whiskies from Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Cheetah distilleries. The flavor delivers honey, orange peel, light Mizunara oak, gentle spice. Everything harmonious, as the name suggests. Also restrained, careful, engineered not to offend anyone paying $85. Here's the problem. Without an age statement, you're trusting Suntory's blending expertise to justify premium pricing with no transparency. In blind tastings against other $75 to $100 whiskeys, blended scotch, premium bourbon, even other Japanese releases, Hibiki Harmony performs respectably, but not exceptionally. It tastes like $50 to $60 blended whiskey, because that's probably what the production costs justify. The remaining $25 to $40 premium, that's the Hibiki name, the award history, the bottle design. At $55 to $60, Hibiki Harmony would be competitive. At $75 to $100, you're paying for no age statement liquid at luxury prices. The top 3 get worse, and number 1 literally isn't entirely made in Japan. Number 3, Nikka from the barrel, $70 to $80 in the US. This one requires nuance because from the barrel is genuinely excellent whiskey. It's also overpriced due to pure import markup exploitation. In Japan, this costs $35 to $45. In the US, $70 to $80. That's nearly double the price for the exact same bottle crossing the Pacific. Bottled at 103 proof, 51.4% ABV. A blend of malt and grain whiskeys. Rich, spicy, bold character with excellent texture. The whiskey delivers everything $75 should buy at its Japanese retail price of $40. At $70 to $80 in the US, you're paying $30 to $40 in pure import markup, distributor margins, and Japan hype tax. The flavor is excellent. Caramel, dark fruit, oak, spice with punch that 103 proof provides. This is legitimately well-made, blended whiskey. In blind tastings, from the barrel often beats whiskeys at similar U.S. prices. The problem isn't quality, it's geography-based pricing exploitation. If this cost $50 to $55 in the U.S., reflecting reasonable import costs plus fair markup, it would be exceptional value. At $70 to $80, you're paying $35 extra because it says Japan on the label. Smart drinkers figured out years ago. Excellent Japanese whiskey at $40 in Tokyo doesn't become twice as good crossing the Pacific. Two more famous bottles. The next one is where grain whiskey gets sold at single malt prices. Number 2, Nikka Coffey Grain, $55 to $75. Here's where we need to talk about what Japanese whiskey legally means. Japan has no legal definition for Japanese whiskey. None. Scotch requires production, maturation, and bottling in Scotland. Bourbon requires production in the U.S. with specific grain and aging requirements. Japanese whiskey, no rules, no regulations, no requirements, which means distilleries can import bulk whiskey from Scotland, Canada, or anywhere else, bottle it in Japan, and legally call it Japanese whiskey. Nikka Coffey Grain is made in Japan. That's real. But it's grain whiskey, corn-based, not malted barley, produced at a coffee still. At $55 to $75, it's priced like mid-tier single malt while delivering grain character that costs significantly less to produce. The flavor is light, sweet, vanilla-forward with gentle corn character. Pleasant, easy drinking. Fundamentally simple. This is not complex whiskey. This is approachable grain spirit in a Japanese bottle charging single malt prices. In blind tastings against other $60 to $70 whiskeys, actual single malts with barley complexity, Coffey Grain consistently underperforms because grain whiskey at $65 can't compete with malt whiskey at $65. The production economics are completely different. Nikka could bottle this at $35 to $45 and still profit handsomely. They charge $55 to $75 because the market lets them. That $15 to $30 premium? Japan mystique applied to industrial grain spirit. One more famous bottle, the one that exposes how broken Japanese whiskey sourcing really is. Before we reveal number 1, understand this. Japan has no legal definition for Japanese whiskey, which means what you're about to hear is completely legal. Number 1, Suntory Toki, $30 to $35. Toki is everywhere. Bars, restaurants, Total Wine, every major retailer. Japanese whiskey, printed clearly on the label. Suntory's name, one of Japan's most respected distilleries, right there on the bottle. Here's what the label doesn't tell you. A significant portion of Toki contains imported whiskey, not distilled in Japan, not matured in Japan, imported as bulk whiskey, blended in Japan, bottled in Japan, sold as Japanese whiskey, completely legal, because Japan has no rules defining what Japanese whiskey actually means. Suntory blends whiskey from Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Chita with imported grain whiskey to meet global demand they can't fulfill from Japanese production alone. They're not hiding it, if you read carefully, but they're not advertising it either. At $30 to $35, this seems reasonable until you understand what you're actually buying. The flavor reflects this: light, approachable, designed for highballs, citrus, honey, light grain, short finish, nothing offensive. Also nothing distinctly Japanese beyond the Mizunara oak influence, which could be applied to any base whiskey. In blind tastings against other $30 to $35 whiskeys, blended Scotch, standard bourbons, even other value Japanese releases, Toki performs acceptably, but not exceptionally. It tastes like $25 blended whiskey, because that's approximately what the production costs, justify when you're blending Japanese single malt with imported grain. Here's the uncomfortable question. If Toki had to disclose on the label contains imported whiskey blended with Japanese whiskey, would you still view it the same way? That hesitation? That's the Japan mystique doing heavy lifting. In 2021, the Japan Spirits and Liqueurs Makers Association created voluntary labeling standards for Japanese whiskey. The standards require whiskey to be mashed, distilled, and matured in Japan to be called Japanese whiskey. Voluntary, not legally enforced. Brands can ignore them. Suntory participated in creating these standards. They're also one of the largest producers of whiskey that doesn't meet them, because compliance is optional, and Toki predates the standards, which means right now in 2026, Toki sits on shelves labeled Japanese whiskey while containing imported imported components that wouldn't qualify under the industry's own voluntary guidelines. At $22 to $25, Toki would be honest pricing for blended whiskey with imported components. At $30 to $35, you're paying an $8 to $10 Japan mystique tax on partially imported liquid. Those are the 5 famous Japanese whiskeys where hype, scarcity speculation, and sourcing ambiguity replaced transparent value. But here's what matters more: knowing which Japanese whiskeys actually deliver honest quality at fair prices. The alternatives coming next don't just offer better value, they offer transparency. Number 1 costs $85 to $120, is 100% distilled and matured in Japan, and delivers actual single malt character at honest pricing. Let's start with number 5. Number 5, Mars EY Tradition. $45 to $65 for Japanese blended whiskey that's honest about what it is. Mars acknowledges using some imported whiskey in their blends. They're transparent about it, and they price accordingly. The result: balanced, approachable Japanese whiskey at prices that don't require speculation to justify. Corn and malt blend with gentle fruit, vanilla, light oak. Nothing complex, nothing pretending to be more than it is. At $50 to $60, this delivers exactly what that price should buy: honest blended whiskey without mystique markup. Compare this to Hibiki Harmony at $75 to $100. Both are blends, both use grain and malt, both are well made. The $15 to $40 difference: Hibiki has no age statement, Mars has transparent sourcing disclosure. You're paying more for less information. Number 4, Hakushu Distiller's Reserve. $100 to $200, commonly $150 to $170 at major retailers. Still expensive, still hard to find, but delivering actual Japanese single malt with distinctive character at more defensible pricing than Hakushu 12. Lightly peated, green apple, herbal notes, Mizunara oak, influence. No age statement, but the flavor profile is genuinely unique. Japanese mountain whiskey with gentle smoke. At $150 to $170, this costs less than Hakushu 12 at $180 to $200, while delivering similar character with slightly less maturity. Hakushu 12 at $200, 12 years aged. Hakushu Distiller's Reserve at $150. No age statement. The $50 difference buys you a number on the label. The whiskey character is remarkably similar. If the 12-year age statement matters that much to you, question why. Number 3, Mars Shinshu EY. $45, $50 to $70 for Japanese single malt with honest provenance and transparent production. Mars Shinshu Distillery operates with complete transparency about sourcing. When they use Japanese distilled whiskey, they say so. When they blend, they disclose it. The whiskey reflects that integrity. Straightforward malt character with Japanese oak influence. Fruit, vanilla, oak, gentle spice. Well-made single malt at prices that don't require you to justify the purchase. Nikka coffee grain at $60 to $70 is grain whiskey charging malt prices. Mars Shinshu EY, $45 at $60, is actual single malt from a transparent distillery. Same price. Completely different honesty levels. Number 2, Nikka Miyagikyo single malt. $85 to $120, commonly $90 to $100 at major retailers. 100% Japanese single malt from one of the country's most respected distilleries. No age statement, but distilled, matured, and bottled entirely in Japan. Complete transparency. The flavor delivers fruit-forward character with sherry influence, vanilla, and gentle spice. Soft, approachable, well-made single malt. At $90 to $100, this is what honest Japanese single malt pricing looks like in 2026. Hakushu Distiller's Reserve at $150 to $170 costs $50 to $70 more. In blind tastings, Miyagikyo at $90 often performs comparably. That $60 difference, mostly the Suntory name and scarcity positioning. And now, the bottle that proves exceptional Japanese whiskey doesn't require $200 pricing or auction mythology. Number 1, Nikka Yoichi Single Malt. $85 to $110 for 100% Japanese single malt with distinctive peated character. Distilled, matured, and bottled entirely at Nikka's Yoichi Distillery on Hokkaido. Complete provenance transparency. The flavor delivers coastal peat smoke, brine, fruit, and oak. Bold, characterful, unapologetically itself. This is what Japanese single malt should be. Distinctive, honest, fairly priced. Because here's what Japanese whiskey pricing in 2026 actually reveals. The premium isn't about quality anymore. It's about positioning. Hakushu 12, $180 to $200, doubled in price from 2015 with no liquid changes. Yoichi single malt, $90 to $110, similar quality level. honest pricing, complete transparency. The $70 to $90 difference buys you the Suntory name, the scarcity theater, the auction mythology. It doesn't buy you $70 to $90 more quality. Nikka knows Yoichi at $100 competes directly with Hakushu at $200. They price it honestly anyway, because some distilleries still believe whiskey should be priced based on production costs and quality, not on how much collectors are willing to pay at auction. Yoichi at $90 to $110 proves the best Japanese whiskey doesn't require luxury pricing. It just requires honesty. That's worth every penny. One rule saves you from every overpriced Japanese whiskey. Demand transparency, not mystique. When you're looking at Japanese whiskey, ask 3 questions. Where was it distilled? If they won't say, assume imported components. What's the age? If it's NAS at luxury prices, walk away. What's the price history? If it doubled in 10 years while the liquid stayed the same, you're paying hype tax. Every famous Japanese whiskey that failed today failed because mystique replaced transparency. Mystique is what brands sell when honest sourcing would hurt pricing. The 5 famous Japanese whiskeys only dumb people still buy. Hakushu 12 at $180 to $200, Hibiki Harmony with no age statement at $75 to $100, Nikka from the barrel at import markup prices, Coffey grain at single malt pricing, and Suntory Toki containing undisclosed imported whiskey at $30 to $35. Not bad whiskey. Japanese whiskey charging premium prices through scarcity theater, no age statement luxury pricing, import markup exploitation, or sourcing non-disclosure. The 5 smart alternatives: Mars Iwai Tradition, Hakushu Distiller's Reserve, Mars Shinshu Iwai 45, Nikka Miyagikyo Single Malt, and Nikka Yoichi Single Malt. All deliver transparency, honest pricing, or distinctive character that justifies the cost. Smart Japanese whiskey drinkers figured this out years ago. They stopped paying auction prices at retail and started demanding distilleries disclose sourcing. In 2026, there's no excuse for paying $200 for whiskey that cost $85 in 2015 without any improvement. Subscribe to Cask Index and see you in the next one.